So prayer has been a huge part of my life, probably from very early. You start at like a toddler when you're praying before a meal or at bedtime. For me, probably at 7 or 8, there were many. I started with some storms in my life, and I remember there were times when I went to God, and it was so easy to go to him and cry out. I remember at night, that was kind of like my time when I felt like I was alone and could be myself with him. And he answered in big ways and showed up. And that was awesome. There was one area in my life and instances and storms that happened that for some reason I just didn't go to him. I don't know what exactly. I look back years and years now, like, what was it about that one thing that I just couldn't feel like I couldn't go to God about? And so for years, I was able to push it aside or endure it for those years. And as I got older, kind of push it aside or ignore it or really forget about it. And then God, who is the amazing God he is, blessed me with 4 children, and they're all amazing, a son, and then 3 daughters. I think he has a sense of humor because I was such a tomboy growing up, and I thought I'd have all boys. And then he gave me 3 girls who are beautiful and lovely in their own way. But as they grew older, actually last year, I hit a point. They got to a certain age, and all of a sudden, when this happens in your life, sometimes you have those little triggers, and I saw all the joy that they brought me, but I also remembered certain times and things that I went through in my life, looking at these little girls and looking at them grow and the things that they might face. And that is when all of those things that I'd kind of pushed aside, those experiences, the instances, the storms, came to the surface and were like right in my face, and I couldn't ignore them anymore. So I started to turn to prayer. So that's what I would share with you now. A few ways that, first, going to people can be amazing, church. We have brothers and sisters. I have great friends that are always pointing me to Christ, but they're human. So when my brain is all jumbled and things seemed impossible in this situation, like that there wasn't an answer, going to humans can help, especially the ones that point you to Christ, but they are also jumbled and they don't know how to help in those situations. So I started to pour out. So one way is just in the moments, like the little prayers when the little things come to the surface, and you do those like little quick prayers that help you get through the moments, but also finding, for myself, I know one instance of just finding a literal mountain to climb. So going out, driving to the base of a mountain, climbing to the top, getting on the edge of the mountain, and I just had a journal and a pen in my hand, because sometimes for me, there are times that I cannot speak in words the things that I need to say. But writing helps. So just praying to God and writing that out. Another day I humbled myself. So this is part of the testimony, is like, humbled myself and really accepted help for someone to take my children so I could lock myself in a room and pray for hours. It's the kind of prayer that I started on my knees, and then I was literally on the floor, and then get up in the chair, and I grabbed a notebook, and all the things that are so jumbled in my brain started to pour out, and you just write and write and write and write if you've had that time. And everything just seems so clear because God shows up in a big way, because the things that you seem to you impossible, all of a sudden with God are not impossible. And so all the things that kind of start to come clear in your head when you go to God for those things. But the biggest thing is just realizing, I think, in my life this year and in my past years, all the things that for me in my life, this one in particular, that on the surface look to be very non-spiritual, and on the surface seem like things you can handle on your own. And then you realize it is all spiritual, that our struggle is not against flesh and blood, right? It's against the powers and the principles, the authorities of the spiritual realms. And so taking the time to really just, we say, call it as it is. It's a spiritual battle every day, the things that we face. And so turning to humans can do so much to help and encourage you, but first God first, and that in my life has been the biggest help in my spiritual journey, is just realizing it's a spiritual battle, that every single thing in my life has been a spiritual battle, and to turn to God for that.